My name is Jeff Morgan. I'm with Dad Talk today, and we've got a very special guest today, Savannah Craven.
Hi, so happy to be here.
Well, thank you for being here. Tell us where you are right now, because this is a different event for us, but go ahead and tell us where we are.
Yes, so we are at the Young Women's Leadership Summit in Dallas, Texas, and we're here surrounded by a ton of amazing conservative women and influencers. So super excited to be here.
Well, great. Thank you again for being here. And this is Dad Talk today. We often talk about the family, but I first want to ask a little bit more about you before we go into that. So where are you from?
I'm from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you're a conservative.
I am.
So you're not supposed to be.
No.
How did you become a conservative? Tell us.
Yeah, so I always was watching Fox News when I was little, and my mom just sort of kind of tried to explain to me after Obama won, because I think I was like 8 years old when that happened.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really understand why like my family was a little bit upset or disappointed, and I started just thinking about it and being like, well, maybe our president really does matter. And then when he won again in 2012, I saw my mom get even more upset, just because the previous 4 years were not very positive.
Right.
And the people that came into power were also, not very positive people.
Yeah.
Like Hillary Clinton and people like that.
Yeah.
And so I started to look at some of the statistics as I was a little bit older. I was like 11 by that point, and I realized like the unemployment and things like that. And I started to realize maybe that's important. Maybe things like that matter, right?
Right.
And I realized, he was a black president, and the black community wasn't really doing much better under his leadership.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is really interesting. So then when the next presidential election rolled around, I was 15 at that point. And at that point, I was really interested in the presidency, because I was like, well, next time I can vote, so I really want to pay attention this time. And I watched President Trump, well, soon to be President Trump, be attacked from every single angle, even though he's exactly what pretty much most people want his daughter to be, a billionaire, someone very wealthy, someone very successful. And I just didn't get it. And I was like, wow, like we have someone who they say they want to do all these positive things. Why would they not back him up? Why do they hate him so much?
Right.
And then when all that started happening, I started really kind of liking him and supporting him, especially after he became president.
Right.
And I saw the things that he was doing for the black community and with immigration, securing our borders. He's the most pro-life president we've ever had. I'm pro-life activist, so that's super important to me.
Okay.
And then when it came around for me to vote, that's when I was like, that's it, I'm telling everyone that I'm conservative, because I just don't care anymore.
Got it. So I see you have Candace Owens' book, Blackout.
Yes.
And I don't know if I mentioned it to you or if Eric mentioned it to you, but we were up in Springfield, Illinois a couple of weeks ago and saw Candace up there, and she was saying that, prior to President Trump, she was very liberal. When she heard that President Trump was going to run the first time, she's like, I can't believe he's doing this. Anybody but Trump, whatever. And then she started to listening to him, and her testimony is, President Trump woke me up.
Yeah.
But you were awakened before President Trump, is what I hear you saying.
Yes, I was very lucky to never have like a movement to the, Republican Party. I was always raised conservative and had conservative values, and I was taught like you can do anything no matter what, you just have to work hard, and it doesn't have anything to do with where you come from or your skin color. And that's pretty much what the left tells you, is that if you're not born white or into money, then you can't do anything.
So within your own family, you mentioned that your mother, tell me a little bit about your family structure, your parents, grandparents, whatever, and whether they were conservative or more liberal, and how all that impacted you. I got the idea that at least somebody in your family was conservative, but go ahead and tell us.
Everyone on my mom's side of the family, which is the only side that I know, I grew up with a single mother, they were always conservative, and they never pushed the views on me. They just said, you can think whatever you want, just be able to back it up. And I think that's a great way to teach your kids. You can think whatever you want, but be able to back it up with facts. Don't don't react off of feelings or because something isn't fair. A lot of things aren't fair, right? But it's reality.
Yeah. So you mentioned that your mom's side of the family, you didn't know your father's side.
No.
So have you ever met your father?
Yeah.
And do you have a relationship with him right now?
No.
Do you mind going a little bit into that? Because at Dad Talk today, we talk a lot about dads, obviously. Not just dads. We talk about the whole family structure.
Yes.
But we also talk about the importance that fathers play in the role of a child and their upbringing. And, I mean, how do you think your life might have been different had you known your dad and everything?
So I think it's very important for a son and a daughter to have both parents, because for a young girl like me, having a father in the home would have benefited me by showing me what a true man should be and what I should look for. Lost daughters that grow up in homes without fathers often tend to go for men that need healing and that need helping or babying, and they also tend to be like these lost sons that also probably did not grow up without a father.
Right.
And so they don't know what it's like to be a strong man and to be a provider for their family.
Right. That's very good. The reality is when you look at the statistics, and I'm just talking about fatherlessness right now because there's other statistics with motherlessness, but I just don't know them, and there haven't been as many studies done because usually the mother's in the children's lives. But when you look at children, the idea that growing up without a dad cripples you in so many different ways. Growing up in a broken family cripples you, generally speaking, in so many ways. Many people don't graduate from high school. Many people have physical problems, psychological problems. They have trust issues. You have people that are getting pregnant outside of marriage because they're looking for that other type of love. You have addiction issues, prison issues. You've got people that are sometimes struggle with poverty because the two-family support system is not there.
Exactly.
So, but you seem to have overcome it. And I don't know how many struggles you did or didn't have in your life, but how did you get to the place where you are today? Was it because of a strong extended family, or what was it?
I think it was really just always watching my mom persevere. There were times where we had less money than other times, and she seemed to always get me to school on time and get me my dance lessons and get me new clothes, when I wanted. And she never went into debt, and she just did as much as she could. And now I know, I never once saw her cry, and I'm sure she shed many tears, and there were many rough times. But when you become a parent, you just have to take a step back and realize everything is about my child, and I need to give my child the best life possible.
Yeah.
And there were times where I asked for something for Christmas, and my mom explained it's either this one big gift or you can get many little things that are on your list. And sometimes that's just what you got to do.
Right. So a little bit ago, Eric had Dr. Ben Carson on here, and he was talking about some of the issues growing up without a father, and that his mother sometimes doing amazing things, but sometimes she needed to get away for healing and just to recoup because the pressure was so difficult on her. Did your mom do anything like that as well? Or, go ahead, I'll let you answer that first.
I don't really remember her going away. It was just me and my mom, and my grandparents and the rest of my family live across the country. So they live in Portland, Oregon, and I grew up in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So there wasn't really an option for that. I'm sure when she put me to bed, there were probably times where she, prayed or cried, or had rough times. But the one thing I thank her for is that I never knew she was struggling. And when you let your kids know that you're struggling, I think that will have a worse long-term impact because they'll expect that struggle throughout their life. And that might not always happen, but I just think that they'll start to expect disappointment and expect downfall.
Right.
And so, to the best of your ability, it is important for you to just be take a breather, cry for a few minutes when you need to, and then
move on. Yeah.
Mommy's ready, or what do you need,
Yeah. So Savannah, I mean, again, going back to what Candace said, because you see you have her book here, so it's sticking right out in my face. One of the things that she says, and that she said it in Springfield, was that we have an epidemic of fatherlessness in our society, and we need our dads in the home. Can you expound on that issue? I mean, what are your thoughts about it? Sometimes very bad government policy actually incentivizes a mother to throw a father out of the home. If you get rid of the dad, or your husband, or the boyfriend, whatever it may be, if you get rid of that person, we'll give you money. You marry us, the government, we'll take care of you. But a child growing up, as you mentioned, still needs the love of a mother and a father together.
So with that, we have problems on both sides. On the women's side, we have influencers and other people telling us that you're strong, you can do this without a man, you're, a bad bee, you're this, you're that, you can do whatever on your own, you don't need anyone else. And then on the other side, on the male side, we have people telling us, oh, yeah, you could go and have 4 baby mamas, and you can still walk around acting like you own the neighborhood, you're a king, you don't have to take care of any of your kids, you don't have to pay child support, and you can still do whatever you want. So there's problems on both sides. What we need to realize is that when 2 people have a baby, it's God chooses those 2 people and puts them together, whether you like it or not, whether it was an accident, whether it was just a one-night thing, or you just weren't expecting to get pregnant. He put y'all together. And so whatever you decide, you need to make sure that if possible, that child is able to have both influences in some type of way.
Right.
And I know there's a lot of problems with the custody and issues for men.
Right.
I've done some research on that.
Right.
But it's not. That comes back to, I think it's not about you anymore. Like,
it's not about you.
I know a lot of people that hate their ex, or hate their ex-husband, or their baby daddy or whatever, or baby mama, but it's not about y'all.
Yeah.
And if you can be a great mother to your kid and be a great father, but separate that, I think that is better than just completely being like, bye dad, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're out of the picture, because most times I think they don't always deserve that. Like, you might not be a good partner, but it doesn't mean you can't be a good dad.
Yeah. I remember in high school, there was a friend of mine, and one weekend he was single, the next weekend he was married. It kind of caught me by surprise. I did not know that, but it was because of this exact same thing that you're talking about. They found out that his girlfriend was pregnant, and they got married. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I think, as far as I know, their marriage lasted. And it was much more the expectation that, if you're married, if you have a child, that child needs both parents.
Yes.
And so many of the pandemics, the epidemics, the problems in society spring just from this one issue. Vladimir Lenin used to say, destroy the family, destroy society. And the first thing he did was he took marriage away from the church and made it a state function only. So that way he destroyed the influence of the church.
Right.
And the second thing he did, he made unilateral divorce a possibility, no-fault divorce. And that would remove a father from the influence of a child. One of the best things that we as conservatives can do is to make sure that we talk about issues of the family, that we are pro-family, because the family, strong families, are the number one defense against totalitarianism, communism, socialism, every ism, the cancel culture. And I hope to hear your voice on the national stage talking about this.
Oh, I hope so too.
So anyway, Savannah, it's so great to meet you. So great to talk with you. What are you doing right now? And if anybody wants to follow you or get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Yes, absolutely. So right now, I'm just going to all these conferences. I'm just going back to my grassroots where I started. and just trying to meet new people and create a lot of a lot of new people in this industry. And if you'd like to follow me, my Instagram is Savannah A. Craven. You can look up all my music. Be Like Candace, Heaven
You
is
have
Full.
music?
Yes, that's what I do. So,
Oh, well, tell us about that.
yeah,
I'm
so
sorry.
I'm a conservative rapper. So,
Oh, really?
and I'm the
Okay.
only female doing it at the moment.
Wow.
So there's a few other people that I've worked with.
Okay.
J360, Bryson Gray, and they're also conservative rappers.
I have no
I'm
idea.
the only girl doing it, so I'd love to
Wow.
have more girls
Yeah.
join. So yeah, so long story short, I wrote this song called Be Like Candace, and I put it out, and I wasn't really sure how it was gonna, go. I just was like, I think it's a great song. We did a video for it,
Yeah.
and overnight it blew up. Candace saw it, she put it on her Instagram, and it just kind of went viral.
Wow.
And it was great. So I've been making music ever since that was at the end of CPAC. So when I tell you that going to these type of events really gets your face out there, gets your name out there, and you can really make connections, it's just the best way.
Okay, Savannah, Savannah.
Yes.
A. Craven, Krac. Okay, that's where I wanted to know.
Craven.
Craven. Okay,
Yes.
wonderful.
And you can watch my videos on YouTube, and they're available on Spotify, Apple Music, all of those platforms.
I had no idea. Thank you so much for saying that. And okay, so as a rap artist, last question here, okay? You're addressing a certain community or everybody I don't know, but maybe a lot of the people that you would address would not say, Candace, I don't want to be like Candace. I don't want to be like any of these conservatives. In fact, if you have an R after your name, it means racist. Is that the message that you want to talk about, or is there something else you want to say to them?
I just see what I'm trying to do with my music is I'm trying to reach the ages of like 11 to 18 who are very heavily influenced right now by people like Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, people like AOC who push this women empowerment that you can do everything by yourself, that you can start an OnlyFans, that you can, sell pictures of yourself and you don't need anything else. You can just do that and it's empowering and posting these sultry photos or just showing off that you have confidence, and it's not true. Your body is very special, and it's it's something that should only be shared with yourself and your significant other. And now it's just, you look at Instagram, you look at YouTube, and everything's just, it's like clothes off everywhere, and it's sad. And we just lack respect for ourselves as women nowadays, and so that's what I'm trying to change. So my videos have no cussing, and they're just straight facts. I just want to reach that community, but still doing it with the rapping and doing it in a way where it's like, oh, this kind of sounds like it would be a Cardi B song, but then I come in with talking about all conservative things, and So another thing, I just got cast in Oklahoma, which will be in Roseland, Virginia, from August 15th to September 5th. And James O'Keefe is going to be in it, and a lot of other conservative influencers. So
wow,
just a bunch of patriots doing a show. I went to school for musical theater, so everyone told me if you go out and you say that you're conservative, you're never going to get cast. Well, look, y'all, I just got cast, so.
Yeah. Well, Savannah, it looks like there's a break on the other side that's not disturbing us, but thank you so much. I should have asked you that at the beginning.
No problem.
Anyway, thank you so much for being on Dad Talk today, and we hope to see you again.
Thank you.
Thanks
Appreciate
so much.
it.
Thanks so much.